Happy morning, students. Today we are going to see a poem from second unit of our text Honeysuckle, class 6. The Kite. The Kite is the second poem of our Honeysuckle book. Do you see any kite? Do you fly any kite? All of us like to fly kites. Have you ever tried to fly one? Let's read the poem about a kite as it flies in the sky. Before entering into the poem, let's know about the poet of the poem, the Kite. YASHMEEN is the poet of the poem, the Kite. See, here's Mr. YASHMEEN, the poet of the poem, the Kite. He was born on September 24, 1898. He was an American screenwriter and children's author. He received his education from Stanford University. Although he produced a number of paintings, he was more famous as a writer than as an artist. He was died on September 6, 1973. Look at the kite, how it is flying, and let's enter into the introductory part of the poem, The Kite. The Kite. The poet has drawn a beautiful picture of the flying kite through words in this poem. We all love to see flying kites, but never noticed how it flies. Through this beautiful word, picture of a flying kite, the poet is just persuading the readers to fly one and notice its beautiful moves. The Kite is a very interesting poem. Let's get inside the poem. How bright and the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail. First we can learn about the first four lines. How bright and the blue. Here, what is the meaning of blue here? The poet refers, blue means that's the sky, how the sky is. The sky is in blue in color. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and dip. What is the meaning of dive? Dive means that is to descend through air. To descend through air. And a dip. Dip, it is the meaning to lower and rise. Dip is the meaning lower and rise. It snaps its tail. The kite snaps its tail. Snaps means it gives a sharp sound. The kite produces a sharp sound. That's the meaning here. How bright on the blue is a kite. That is, the kite is in blue in color. When it's new, the first appearance of the kite in the sky, with a dive and dip, it snaps its tail. See, what is the first four lines explanation the author gives? That's a kite looks bright on a clear sky when it flies for the first time. The kite moves with a softness and force together at the same time. To fly makes its tail. How the tail, it moves here and there according to the blow of the wind. To fly makes its tail to create a cracking sound in the air. The kite produces a cracking sound in the air. Now let's go to the second stanza. Then soars like a ship with only a sail, as over tides of wind it rides, climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. That is what he says in the second stanza. Then soars like a ship. What is the meaning of soars? Soars means it is to fly upwards. The kite tries to fly upward direction in the air. Then soars like the ship, to fly like the upwards with only a sail. As over tides. What is the meaning of tides? Tides rise and fall in the air. Of wind it rides. Climbs to the crest. The meaning of crest is the highest part. It reaches the highest position, the highest part in the air. of a gust and pulls. Gust, that is a sudden blast of wind. A sudden blast of a wind is known as gust. And pulls then seems to rest as wind falls. When the wind falls, the kite keeps quiet and it's settled in a one position. That's the poet says here. Such moves, that is the kite moves, help it to float in the sky. Just waves rising and falling with the sudden blow of winds. How the wind is blowing, a strong wind is blowing a sudden way, and it goes up to the highest part. When the wind blows in the strongest way, what happened to the kite? It goes up to the highest point in the sky in a wave manner. How the wave will go in this? See, the same way it is moving in the sky. That's in a wave manner, the way of a ship moves on the ocean. How the ship moves on the ocean? It's like in a wave. But as soon as the wind slows down, it seems as if it has stopped there to rest. If there is no wind there, that's if the wind has stopped at a running position, what happened? The kite starts to take rest. Thus the poet mentioned in his second stanza. Let's go to the third stanza. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows, and its wings will fill and up it goes. What is the author says here? That is, when string goes slack. What is the meaning of slack here? Slack means to get loose, to get loose. When string goes slack, that is when string goes to in a loose position, you wind it back and run until till when it should run. A new breeze blows. What is the meaning of breeze? A light wind. A light wind blows and its wings fill and up it goes. That is when a wind, that is when a string goes slack. When a string goes to loose position, wind it back and run until, that is it stops until a new breeze blows, a light wind blows and its wings fill and up it goes. Then it starts to move its position. Thus the author says here, when the thread tied to the kite loosens, the flyer runs and rolls its back. He waits till a new breeze, that's till a new air blows again and fills its wings with air again to help it fly high. The kite will wait till a new breeze blows again, and it starts to, after the new breeze arrives, what happens? It fills its wings with air. The kite fills its wings with the air to help it fly high in a position. Now let's enter into the last stanza of the poem. That is, how bright on the blue is a kite when it's new, but a ragged thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. See, the poet has repeated the first two lines again in his last stanza. What he says, how bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. He has repeated the same thing. That's the kite looks bright when it flies for the first time in the sky. Here the blue refers to the sky. But a ragged thing. What is the meaning of the ragged? Ragged means it is a rough and worn. Rough things. You can say as a rough or worn things. You never will see when it flaps. What is the meaning of flaps here? To move up and down, to rise up and down. When the wind blows, what happened? The kite will move up and down on a string. That is when it flaps up and down on a string in the top of tree. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. The kite looks blue when it flies in the sky. But a ragged thing, but a rough thing, you never will see when it flaps on a string. That is when it moves up and down on a string in the top of the tree. Here the poet says that a kite, that is the kite looks very bright and beautiful on the clear sky. That's he has mentioned in his first stanza also. That is, the kite looks very bright and beautiful on a clear sky. But when it gets stuck, when the kite stuck on a top of the tree, what happened? It gets torn. The kite will get torn and gives a poor, worn outlook. Its appearance will not be nice. Poor outlook, which is not liked by anyone. When the kite was turned, what happened? Nobody will like this. That's he is mentioned in his last stanza. Now, let's learn the new words of the poem The Kite. Blue. Here the poet mentions blue as sky. Dive. To descend through air. Dip. To lower and rise. Snaps. To make short sound. Soars. To fly upwards. Tides. Rise and fall in the air. Crest. The highest part. Gust. A sudden blast of wind. Slack. To get loose. Breeze. It's a light wind. Rocktave. Rough and worn. Flaps. To move up and down. Now, let's see what is the figures of speech mentioned in the poem The Kite. The poet used simile in this poem by comparing the movement of the kite with a sailing ship. He says that the kite looks bright in the blue sky and it is wonderful to watch it riding on the air as the ship sails on the waves. Here the poet compares the kite with the sailing ship. Now look at the poem. In the poem itself, we can identify the figures of speech. What is mentioned here? The poet says that is mentioned as a simile. Why we are saying that it is a simile? That's the poet says that he compares the movement of a kite with a sailing ship. See, the poem it is mentioned as like. Wherever you are finding the word as like or as, it is mentioned as simile. The figures of speech, that is like or as is mentioned, we can easily understand that the poet is, that is the poem is simile. We can easily identify the word if it is mentioned as or like. When it is compared with the two unlike things, it is mentioned as a simile. Easily we can identify the word as or like. We can say that the figure of speech is simile. Now again recall the simile. That is its definition is comparing two unlike things using like or as. Any word will be given. That is a comparison of two unlike things. That is here in the poem. The poet compares the movement of a kite with a sailing ship. So we can easily identify the figure of speech mentioned in the poem. The kite is simile. Here the poet often use the word as like. So it is mentioned as simile. Now let's go into the summary of the poem The Kite. Let's recall the theme of the poem The Kite. The kite brightens up in the blue sky like a ship. It involves itself in different actions such as diving, how the kite dives, snapping, dipping and soaring with sudden gusts. It pulls, then it takes rest as the wind falls. Then with the help of a new brace, it gets a new life and starts going up. But it gets torn or worn out only when it gets stuck to the top of a tree. learn the summary and find the solutions for the following questions and send it back. Thank you.